Have you ever looked at something you know intimately and felt nothing but confusion? A word you have written 1,000 times suddenly looks wrong. A familiar street feels foreign. A loved face feels strangely distant. And for a moment, reality slips. This experience is called jamais, and it may be more disturbing than déjà vu, because instead of the past returning, the present disappears. Jamais translates to never seen. It is the eerie opposite of déjà vu. Instead of feeling familiarity where there should be none, you feel unfamiliarity where everything should make sense. Your brain fails to recognize what it knows. The world remains intact, but your access to meaning is interrupted. This is not forgetfulness. You remember the facts. You know the word, the face, the place. But recognition collapses. The emotional certainty vanishes. And without recognition, reality feels hollow, artificial, almost staged. This moment exposes something uncomfortable. Familiarity is not inherent in objects. It is constructed inside the mind. When that construction fails, the world does not disappear. Your sense of belonging to it does. Neuroscience suggests jamais vu occurs when mental processes become overstabilized. Repetition overloads the brain. The pattern becomes too familiar, and the mind temporarily disconnects from it, meaning short circuits. What once felt automatic suddenly requires effort. But the psychological implication is far deeper. Jamais vu reveals that your experience of reality depends entirely on interpretation. Without recognition, existence feels mechanical, cold, uninhabited, as if you are observing life rather than living it. Think about how much of your day runs on familiarity, language, routines, relationships, identity. You do not consciously process them. You rely on automatic recognition. Jamais vu pulls that rug away and forces awareness back into the present moment. This is why jamais vu feels unsettling. It strips away the illusion of continuity. It shows that meaning is not permanent. It is fragile, and it can vanish without warning. In that moment, even the self feels unfamiliar. Your thoughts sound strange. Your actions feel rehearsed. You watch yourself exist as if from a distance. This can trigger anxiety because the brain equates unfamiliarity with danger. Philosophically, jamais vu asks a terrifying question. If familiarity can vanish, what else is constructed? If meaning is not stable, what does that say about identity? Your sense of self relies on repetition. Memories repeated until they feel solid. Roles repeated until they feel real. Stories told so often they feel true. Jamais vu exposes the cracks in that process. Some people experience jamais vu during stress, exhaustion, or dissociation. Others experience it spontaneously. But the pattern is the same. The mind momentarily stops pretending. Ancient thinkers understood this disruption. Zen traditions deliberately induce states where familiar concepts lose meaning. Words are repeated until they dissolve. Logic is pushed until it breaks. The goal is not confusion. The goal is seeing beyond automatic perception. When familiarity collapses, awareness sharpens. You are forced to see things as they are, not as labels. A word becomes a shape. A face becomes a form. A thought becomes a sound. Reality loses its narrative and becomes raw sensation. This can be frightening, but it can also be revealing. Jamais vu shows you how much of life you live on autopilot. How rarely you truly see what is in front of you. Consider how often you say words without hearing them. How often you look without seeing. How often you live without noticing. Jamais vu interrupts this trance. It reminds you that meaning is not in the world. It is applied by the mind. And when the mind hesitates, even for a second, the illusion thins. Some describe jamais vu as a glitch, others as a warning. But perhaps it is an invitation. A reminder that consciousness is not fixed. That reality is not guaranteed to feel real. If déjà vu feels like time looping, jamais vu feels like time breaking. The past no longer supports the present. Each moment stands alone, unrecognized, unframed. This is why jamais vu can feel existential. Without familiarity, there is no comfort, no identity, no narrative continuity, just awareness exposed, and yet awareness remains. Even when meaning dissolves, something is still watching, something is still present. That observer does not depend on familiarity. It does not require recognition. So when jamais vu happens, the question is not what went wrong. The question is this: what are you when recognition disappears? Are you the labels you apply, or the awareness that notices when they fail? Jamais does not mean reality is broken. It means your filter loosened. And through that crack, you glimpsed how much of life is constructed, rehearsed, and assumed. The discomfort fades, familiarity returns, the illusion reassembles. You go back to naming, recognizing, assuming. But for a moment, you saw something rare. You saw the world without memory, holding it together. And once you know that is possible, you may never look at familiarity the same way again.